I'm Shani Williams. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Graffiniti. I'm also a collector of LLCs. And for my day job, I run the co-working space down in Austin, which is called Launch. So today I'm going to talk to you guys about my startup, Graffiniti. Graffiniti is an augmented reality app for visual artists and consumers that combines social sharing and e-commerce into a single solution. We are starting out with a mobile app for phones, but the end game is headsets, as you will see in a minute. So when you think of augmented reality today, most people think of the 1st and 10 line when you're watching football on television, or gimmicky games like Pokemon Go. But in reality, we're actually capable of stuff that you see in Star Wars today already, especially with headsets like Magic Leap. So I went down to Magic Leap's headquarters in Florida about 2 years ago while they were still in stealth mode. And after demoing it, I quickly realized that AR is going to replace all the screens that we use in our lives, televisions, computers, phones, completely. So knowing that this is the future that's coming down the pike, and we're already capable of, my head immediately, being a serial entrepreneur, kind of went to, okay, what problems can we solve? My background, as I'll talk about in a little bit, is about empowering artists. And so, yeah, that's, again, immediately where my head went. So today, artists have to share their art for free on a social platform like Instagram or Facebook. And again, you know, if you're not paying for it, you're the product. And then so after giving their art away for free to everybody, they then have to try and convince people to go to a separate marketplace to buy that art, such as Etsy here. For consumers, doing customer discovery for this, we found that consumers want to try out art before they buy it. That hanging art is actually a surprisingly big pain point that came up over and over and over again. And and also that people already own art that they don't get out very much on the walls because it's a pain to swap art out. Social media, I don't know if you guys knew this, but social media is pretty toxic these days. We found that out in customer discovery. Also, seeing visual feeds that are completely full of idealized versions of other people's lives makes everyone miserable. And everyone's kind of sick of ads, as it turns out. And then, perhaps most significantly, augmented reality has the problem of needing a killer app that is going to make people want to use it on a daily basis. Graffiniti, as it turns out, solves all these problems. So it combines the visual feed of Instagram with the e-commerce solutions of Amazon in augmented reality. So you can scroll through a feed of gorgeous art and share art that you find with your friends who also follow you. You can pull art out of the feed and into the real world onto your walls. You can try out the art and get it to the perfect size before you buy it. You can also buy art that you couldn't before, including digital sculptures, animations, that kind of thing. You can subscribe to your favorite artists and share their art with your followers, and ultimately transform your world. So we have 4 areas of focus when it comes to art. First is traditional 2D art, including photography, drawings, paintings, but then also digital art, which again hasn't really had a platform for being sold before. Also have animations and GIFs, which again, you weren't able to hang on your wall before. 3D art, including traditional sculptures, but then also digital sculptures now as well. There's a big art movement that's blowing up in virtual reality with people sculpting in 3D. And then also pop art, including film, television, and sports. So again, I'm Shani Williams. I'm the co-founder and CEO. I was a producer on a movie went to Sundance in 2003. I then partnered with the director of that film and started Foot in the Door Entertainment, which bridged the gap between film school and the real world. I then went on to become a professional comic book writer and became a New York Times bestselling writer doing that, which then led me to start a publishing company called Comicer Press, which we had one lawyer tell us had the best contract for creators in the industry. My co-founder is Barrett Guarantee. He's our business strategy advisor. He was the founding agent for the online division of UTA. He was making web series before they had a name for it. And Martin Greider is our lead developer right now. He's based up in the Twin Cities, and he's worked on the apps for Best Buy, Napster's VR app, Thomson Reuters, and then an AR social platform called Flipgrid that apparently high schoolers use. Not being a high schooler myself, I don't know. So, getting into the business side of things. Revenue streams, we're expecting half of our sales to be digital, with a third being physical. We're actually in talks right now with a fulfillment company so we can offer artists the fulfillment option. So they just send a box of their stuff to us and we'll ship it for them, which again makes the barrier for artists easier to do their business. We're also expecting rentals and subscriptions to make up the rest of our revenue stream. So for unit one, piece of digital art, we sell it for $10. Apple takes their cut. Again, we're starting out with mobile. Apple is anticipated to come out with their consumer headset in the next few years, so that's why we're kind of focusing on the iOS. They're also already building in AR headset integrations into the code that they're releasing to developers right now. So yeah, and then we split the profits with the artist, which is a 34% gross margin. For physical art, we will just take a straight commission off of the sale price, leaving the rest for everything else. Market size, we are looking at 2.5 billion smartphone users worldwide because conveniently, art doesn't have a language barrier. We're also looking at the 1 billion AR-enabled devices that are already out in the world. So I don't know if you guys have used the AR functionality on your phones, but it's probably capable of it already. And then specifically, we're looking at the 17 million early adopters who use new Apple products within their first year, which translates into $20 billion in in-app purchases for non-game apps, as well as $7.5 billion that online art marketplaces already bring in. So you don't think of independent artists, that's not a lot of money. It's $7.5 billion, not a lot of money. And then also we're looking at 146 million, which is the gross merchandise volume that the online art marketplaces have within their first 5 to 10 years on average. So, and then this is the other big consideration. This was the AR market last year, and then this is the AR market 3 years from now. So we're looking down the road towards that. All this boils down to basically, in year 3, we're going to have a gross merchandise volume of $20 million, which is in line with what other marketplaces have done historically, and then gets us up to a gross margin of 27%. So for traction, we were a grant recipient for the Entrepreneurs First initiative, which is in southern Minnesota. My co-working space is a part of that, and we have a big push going on right now for the next round of that. Basically, they give grants to entrepreneurs, small grants, so it's an easy application and easy to follow up on. And then also, we were the third cohort of Startup Factory in Austin, which is part of the Iowa State program. For exits, we're looking at potential acquirers of Amazon, Etsy, Facebook, or Google, because they all have deep pockets. And then also, we're filling a hole in their revenue stream and their business model. And so for comparison, Tumblr was sold for $1.1 billion to Yahoo, and Etsy had a $3.5 billion IPO. Right now, we're doing a pre-seed fundraising round for $125,000, which will basically allow us to hire a developer on full-time and build out the product. The other two things I have not mentioned yet are that we're building security into the platform, so specifically anti-piracy functions. That's another major pain point for artists. I've seen artists, friends of mine, actually abandon platforms because stuff's getting stolen frequently and easily. We're also going to offer a blockchain upgrade so that artists can buy or artists can sell unique pieces of digital art that stay unique. And also, everyone who uses Graffiniti makes a commission off of any sale that happens off of their feed. So if your friend buys a piece of art after seeing it in your feed, you get a cut of that, which is, again, totally unique to the marketplaces right now. And that's Graffiniti. Any questions?